Hey guys, welcome back to another episode on the True Motivation Podcast, or the True Podcast. I think I prefer the True Podcast. Anyway, how you guys doing? Hope you're all having a good day. Wow, third episode in 3 days. We're doing good. Thank you for supporting the previous episodes. It's been amazing. I will say it's at the start, right? If you guys would like to donate to the GoFundMe in the description below, we're very much appreciated. We are creating a disability software, and we are raising £50,000 in order to get that going. So if you would like to donate to that, it'll be very appreciated. Also, my Instagram is down below in the description. If you'd like to check that out, please feel free. DM me, whatever. Have a good time, guys. Anyway, today's podcast. So, last podcast, we talked about a few things, right? But the most important subject of it was valuing yourself, right? And earlier on today, I was having a look at some old pictures of mine, right? Just from when I got on holidays and whatnot. And I'm very fortunate, right? I'm very fortunate for the places I've been able to go. I've had my fair bit of traveling in the last 14 years I've been alive, and I'm very grateful for that, right? Very grateful to my family for that. And as well in the last video I talked about exploring and using life to its full potential. But the thing that I want to talk about today is the opposite, really, because some of us are going to be in a position where we feel like we can't explore, right? We feel like we're isolated in our work. We feel like we're not enjoying our work, and we're in a position where we want to exit and be able to do things with our life. However, we're making sacrifices. And so I feel like sacrifice is a large part of it, because to have dreams is to have sacrifices, right? Because we all have to sacrifice something. And no, I'm not talking about sacrificing some sort of, sheep on the top of a hill, some sort of ritual. That's not the type of sacrifice I'm on about. I'm talking about what you sacrifice to get to the places you want to be, right? So it could be having to leave your area to get a new job, right? And that would have been the sacrifice, right? Leaving your area that you enjoy to go to somewhere you less enjoy but have a better job, right? But self-sacrifice, again, not that kind of sacrifice, not the creepy type, the personal type. And in that sense, we all have something that we hold on to, right? We all have a reason for being here. We have a reason for living, all right? Even if you haven't found all your reasons yet, we all have one, all right? At least one. And sometimes in life, we're going to have to sacrifice those things in order to get to the places we want to be, right? Because it is not always going to be a case of you can just do everything, smoothly A to B, right? Life's more like an A to Z, right? Just that all the letters are really far apart from each other. Or you can think of it as A to B, and there are loads of obstacles in the way that you have to get around, right? There are always going to be obstacles in whatever you want to do. Well, whatever dream you have, right? Unless you're fortunately in enough position where you can do that, right? In which case you're not dreaming high enough. If you haven't got obstacles in the way of your dreams, then you're not dreaming big enough. You need to dream bigger. But to sacrifice something is to give it up, right? You are letting go. And sometimes, as humans, see, I don't agree with this. However, a lot of people do, so I will mention it. As humans, we are afraid of things we don't know, right? We are afraid of the unknown. Personally, I can't say I am. I enjoy most unknown things. And naturally, from what I've heard from friends and family, part of, going to the unknown and, taking a step out of your comfort zone is that we don't really know where we are, right? And I'm not talking about physically, but also mentally, right? Because we don't know how to act. We don't know how, what the mood is, essentially, for the place you're in, right? Could be like a new club, could be a new country, whatever, right? And when we get ourselves to these situations, we come to a point where we tend to have to sacrifice something, right? I saw a video a while ago on people travelling around, and there's loads of different laws wherever you travel around, And sometimes you have to sacrifice, little things. Little things you have to sacrifice, like, oh, I can't bring this top, or I can't, do this or do that. And that's sort of what it's like, right? It's a perfect example because it shows minor sacrifice in life, right? We all have to give up small things. Sometimes it's big things, but in this case, it was a small thing. Well, in this example at least. But sometimes you also have the bigger things you have to give up, right? Such as if you're, younger, maybe in your teens, or maybe you're not in your teens, maybe you're even in your 20s, 30s, 40s. To be honest, it doesn't really matter, because if you're taken out of your comfort zone and you're, put in a position where you don't know what's going on, then naturally your thought process is gonna shift, right? You're gonna go into a somewhat survival mode, right? Trying to find out who everyone is, what everything's like, the culture, or just a general lifestyle of that area. Or hey, it might often be different, but the point is, stepping out of our comfort zone is very important, right? Because we are always staying stationary when we're in a comfort zone. So, I think I mentioned last video, right, about getting out of your comfort zone, because that's how you grow as a person, and that is 100% true, right? Hence why we call the True Podcast. But sometimes we have to do things in different ways, right, when it comes to sacrifice. So sometimes it could be, usually, sorry guys, I'm slipping up for words here. Usually we have to give up something we like, right? Because anything that we sacrifice tends to be something that we are de-benefiting from, right? I'm not sure what is the word for de-benefiting. I don't think that's a word. That we are that we're losing, right? It's a bit of a loss. But to use your sacrifices, right, and to give up something to use it as an advantage, really. And sacrifice and giving up something also allows us to explore and find out new things. Because, okay, let's say you were a devout Muslim, right? You were Muslim your entire life. Muslim family. You went to the mosque every day, I'm not sure how often Muslims go to the mosque or ever. I think it's optional. But you're a devout Muslim, right? And one day, you went to a other country and you explored their culture, right? You were still Muslim, but you explored their culture. And being devout to their religion, they still pray, they still do all that, good for them, right? However, they also see all these other religions, right? They'll see Christianity, Sikhism, Judaism, all these different religions, right? And it's a bit of an eye opener, because they've been raised, and brought up out of choice in a Muslim family. And hey, this could be Christian, this could be Jewish. I'm purely using Muslim for the demonstration, right? And so when we open ourselves to these new environments, we tend to make sacrifice, right? Because let's say that this Muslim, again, it could be Christian, it could be it could be Jewish, it could be any religion, right? So do not get offended by this. But let's say this person, right, found interest in another religion, yeah? I'm not saying it's easily switched, like click of the finger, but they, over time they had found a new religion, right? They'd found a new faith. It could be a Christian, could be you could be Buddhist, it doesn't matter. Point is, they found a new faith, right? And the sacrifice they would have been making would be exiting their comfort zone, because that religion that they were comfortable with has been, taken away from them. And that's not to say that their religion's wrong or right? It's not really about the religion. As a matter of fact, it has nothing to do with the religion. It has everything to do with how they gave up something, right? I know, is it Easter time? When you, around Easter time, whatnot, when you give up something for Lent? Or is that Christmas? I genuinely can't remember. I should know this. I'm Christian. I should know this. Oh my gosh. That's embarrassing. But either way, right? You give up something for Lent. Could be a food. Unhealthy, unnecessary sugars. It could be a bad habit. You could be a smoker. You could be a vapor. Could be a bad habit. Whatever, right? And that I love it, right? I love giving something up for Lent. I love it because it really allows me to explore, right, who I am as a person and, the other things out there. And so I think I want to make my own little one, right? So anyone who's watching this right now, for the next week, I want you to get rid of your most comfortable habit, right? Just stop your most comfortable habit. I'm not talking about a hygiene habit or whatever. I'm talking about an unhealthy habit, right? Could be smoking, um, you know, could be drugs. I mean, I doubt anyone's taking drugs. Well, I hope no one's taking drugs. But whatever, right? Whatever your bad habit is, I want you and the rest of the people watching this video to stop it for 1 week, right? So if you want to tell me what it is in the comments below, what the thing you're giving up is, feel free. However, if you don't want to tell me, no pressure at all, right? It's completely optional. However, I want you all to try to give up something, right? To get an idea and sacrifice, because the way I see it is that it's like Macbeth, right? In Macbeth, see, I'm not sure if it's Lady Macbeth or Macbeth himself, right? But I'm just gonna say it was Macbeth himself because I think that's what it was. He drank little bits of poison every day, right? In order to become immune. In the same way that by making small sacrifices weekly and giving up bad habits, it becomes easier to get rid of the larger bad habits, if that makes sense, right? And it could be it could be as simple as remembering to put it in the recycling bin, right? It could be as simple as that. And by doing these little steps in order to take down our biggest downfalls as who we are, not only do we improve ourselves as people, but we also create new downfalls, right? You're probably thinking, wait, what? Hold on a minute, I thought we were doing this to get rid of them. In life, it is important we have downfalls, right? We need to have things we are bad at. We need to have, because it keeps us working, keeps us living. And so, if we fix the ones we have and accept the new ones, and then fix them, right? Because, we're always going to have things that we are not 100% on, right? Could be a skill, could be a relationship that isn't going as it could be, all sorts in life. So I really challenge you to push yourself to sacrifice something small, and then maybe next week in an episode, I'll tell you to do it again. And then again, 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 until you can sacrifice your biggest bad habits in life in order to, make yourself a better person. And some things it won't be easy, right? Some things are going to really challenge you. But that is the point. I am trying to challenge you guys. I am not trying to make this easy for you. Do not be fooled once. I am trying to make this as difficult as possible. Because the challenge is what keeps us living. Alright? However, don't try and give up your biggest bad habit yet. Right? All comes with time. Right? If you think you can, go for it. However, I am not saying, if you are a regular smoker daily, stop smoking straight away. Obviously, I know there are health issues with things like that. Which is why it's important to take things with ease, right? Build up slowly. It's like I started a while ago. I started this workout thing, right? Where I do 100 push-ups a month. Then the next month I do 200 push-ups. Every day this is. Then the next month I do 400. And the next month I do 800. To the point I got to 1,000, which I'm at now. 1,000 push-ups a day is it's quite helpful actually. But the point is, building up something makes you tolerant to it. It allows you to do it easier with more ease. The same will happen with my push-ups right now. Every day I can do 1,000 push-ups, or sit-ups, but I won't be worrying about it. Which is really the same point which I'm trying to get across to you now. Because these slow build-ups that we have in towards the goals that we have, see, it's not just with your sacrifices, it's also with your goals. Slow build-up, slow steps, baby steps. So steps are still going to make significant difference, because to get there we have to do something, right? Every day, if you feel like you're moving, if you feel like you're making progress in something, you're doing something right, because the progress is what keeps us doing the next thing, and then the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing, until you get to the point where you're doing so much progress that you actually reach your goal. And when you reach your goal, you probably think, what do you do? That, my friend, that is when you set your new goal. And I love that moment in time for that split second where you've completed something and you're happy for about 5 minutes, right? And then at a very second, you stop. You scratch your head and you think, what's the next step? And in that very moment, you already know what the next step is, right? To defeat your challenges and to harness what you never thought would be possible, you realise that you still have so long to go. And you appreciate that you just got to that step. But no matter how far into something you are, you're always so little into it. Because we can always improve on something. Just a little bit. Could take a long time. Could take 2 seconds. However, we always improve on things. Somehow, some way, if we keep trying. There was a sport I used to do called speed stacking. It was very fun. I loved it, right? I used to go to tournaments in the UK. Went to the UK champ like 3 times. It was good, right? And the best time for one of the stacking cup sport, this is, by the way, you know, you stack cups for fast and whatnot. My best time was like 7 seconds, right, on the cycle. And the cycle was the longest stack. And I had 7 seconds, which was good, right? It was good for competitions. I ended up, getting third or so. And I was happy. But the world record at the time was, I think it was like 4 seconds to 215.215, right? And then the next world record was 4 seconds 214, right? And they were making these small dents into it until someone had just came along one day and was like 4 seconds, like 4.007 or something like that. It was amazing. And they cut off for 2 milliseconds, right? Which may not sound like a lot, but overall in that sport, that was a load, especially for the time they had, right? Because anything in the 4 second range means you are very good, right? It means you're skilled in the cup stacking, in speed stacking, or sport stacking. I'm not sure how you say it. Well, we said speed stacking. Some people said sport stacking, but it was that little progress which kept you going. I remember when I got my first 10 seconds, or when I got my first 9, then when I got my first 8, and then when I got my first 7. Yet to get a 6. Well, I sacrificed, right? I sacrificed one sport for another. And then I sacrificed that sport for another, and then sacrificed that sport for another, and kept going on, right? But it was that sacrifice which allowed me to explore, and to try new things, and to find out what I enjoy in life and who I am. Because we will never know who we are fully. We can try, but until you've tried everything, and when I say everything, I literally mean everything within reason. Do not go around killing people. But when you've tried everything, then you know who you are. And in life, it is hard to try everything. However, we can give it our best shot. So, the goal I have for myself in life is to know myself well enough for when I get old, right? Which is interesting, because I am not living for when I get old. I'm living for the journey there, right? And that's exactly what it is. That's a fun part, because as soon as you know who you are, the game's over. All the fun's done. And so we have so much time in life to keep playing that game, and to keep trying to find out who we are day in, day out. And it is a challenge. It is a challenge to find out who you are and what you enjoy. Because there are so many different things out there. Some things you won't be able to try, some things you will. You probably thought something already that you can't try, right? Something you're like, oh, I can't try that, no way. And again, as long as it's legal, try it. Aside from if you go to Amsterdam and there's marijuana. Nah, I'm joking. That's not my place to say. But in things such as that, it's the exploration, it's the sacrifice, which allows us to find out who we are as people. So, if you guys did enjoy this podcast, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See you guys then.